whatever you write here, only by the writing you are not going to be fluent in English. Environment is very much important. You need to involve in an English environment. The moment you come here, the moment you enter the classroom, you get the environment of English. So every day you just try to talk to each other in English. The moment you go out of this classroom, you can find that people will be talking in Hindi. You cannot get the environment. Environment is very much important. How can you create an environment of English? First of all, you have to learn. Whatever you write here, as you have good revision every day, you know very well that only by the help of writing, no one can be fluent in English. You cannot be fluent in English only by the help of writing. You can improve your knowledge, but the environment is very much important. You need to involve yourself. When someone speaks in English, you have to listen to them carefully. When your teacher speaks, when someone speaks in English, you have to listen to them carefully, so that finally after a few days you can start speaking English. How is it possible to create an environment in your family? First of all, you have to learn. Whatever you write here, try to discuss with your brothers and sisters. The notes, there is no limitation for the notes. You can write as much as it is possible for you to remember in a particular day. There is no limitation that you will complete today, present tense, past tense, future tense. It depends on you. If you want, you can complete tense today. You don't need to wait for the next day. But make it sure that environment is very much important. For that, involvement is important. How can you involve in an English environment? Everybody can understand nowadays. If you ask anyone, do you understand? Everybody says, I do understand English. You cannot find even a single person who doesn't understand how to understand. Everybody knows. But the problem to speak in English. If you ask anyone, do you understand? Everybody says, yes, I do understand. But the problem to speak in English. How can you learn how to speak in English? For that, you have to involve in an English environment. This is a place where you are going to get the environment of English. And every day, when you come here, you are talking to your friends, you are listening to your teacher, you talk to me, but make it sure that as long as you stay here, try to imagine, try to think in English. Because the next day program, what are you going to do? Is it in class tomorrow that you go to talk to your friends? Tomorrow, whatever you do tomorrow, the way you make the planning for the night, at night when you go back to your place, you think for the next day program what you have to do in Hindi, because you have been speaking Hindi since your childhood. So now the question arises that now you have to start thinking in English. Then what are you going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow planning. For the tomorrow planning, just to start thinking in English. While thinking, if you get any problem, you can ask me in the next class when you come to attend the class. Sir, what will be the translation of the particular sentence? What is the meaning of that word meaning? You can ask me. You need to think for the next day program. What are you going to do? Tomorrow you have to go to college. Tomorrow you have to go somewhere else. You have to talk to your friends. You have to go out to station. Whatever you make the planning in Hindi, because you have been speaking Hindi since your childhood. Same thing now, just start thinking in English. While thinking, if you have any problem, you can ask me the next day, sir, what will be the translation to the particular sentence that I had thought in my mind, I am unable to translate. Is that clear? So environment is very much important. You need to involve in that environment. This is the place where you are going to get the environment. How can you create an environment in your family? Like Hindi is spoken or Bengali is spoken in your family. You did not go to attend the classes of like Bengali or Hindi. You could see them talking to each other and you could observe. Like observation is very much important. And now you could learn how to talk in Bengali or Hindi. There is a lack of feelings. If somebody is talking about the good or bad news, you can imagine that. What does he want to say? If you are talking with your friends in Hindi, if he says that he is talking about the good or bad news, you can imagine that he is talking about that he looks like very sad. So you can imagine that he is looking very sad. That means he is talking about the good or bad news. But in English, what happens? You just try to translate in your mind. Someone speaks in English. It takes time. For that, involvement is very much important. How can you involve? By the help of the environment that you are going to get in this classroom. Is that clear now? So environment is very much important for you to be fluent in English. Only by the help of writing, no one can be fluent in English. Only by the help of writing, you can improve your knowledge. You can improve your knowledge. You can write in English, but you cannot speak in English until you involve yourself in an English environment. This is the place where you are going to get the environment of English. Is that clear? So thank you very much.